everyone, welcome back to my channel where we talk about travel and languages. My name is Kristen, and today I have a special guest with me, my twin sister, Caitlin. Ta-da! So the reason I'm having my sister join me today is because we actually both got LASIK surgery on the same day at the same time. And I just wanted to have her share her experience as well. Obviously we are twin sisters, so there's not a lot of variables there.
Yeah, we actually have pretty much exactly the same prescription. I mean, had, not anymore.
We actually both had really strong prescriptions ever since we were very, very young. We actually remember the day that we first got glasses. We were probably in first grade?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. And we didn't realize for a long time that we need glasses. But looking back, it was really obvious because we used to do this thing where we would sit this close to the TV and like pull our eyes apart to be able to see. So the day we got glasses, I'll never forget, we were running around staring at things. Like I remember looking at leaves on trees really closely and being like, oh, there's like a vein here and like little ridges on the leaves. We had never seen the definition on Mount Rainier before. Hairs in the carpet. I remember looking at the hairs, individual hairs in the carpet, because I guess as a child I had thought that it was all just one like plush mat. From there, growing up, our prescription only got worse. We ended up having, I think mine was negative 6.5.
Oh, you were a little bit worse than me. I was negative 6 in both eyes.
So that's, for reference, that's like this close to my face is what I could see.
Yeah. So we were pretty dependent on our glasses for everyday life, or contacts.
I wear contacts. I wore contacts a lot.
I wore glasses mostly.
So obviously the decision to get LASIK is going to be different for everyone. Everyone has their own reasons. For us, it was a lot just because we were very dependent on our glasses because our prescription was so strong. For me personally, it had a lot to do with my job because I work on airplanes and wearing contacts is very drying. Wearing glasses makes me a little nervous because if, like, my job is to, in the case of emergency, evacuate an airplane in 90 seconds. And if something were to happen to my glasses, if that happened, you know, God forbid, I would be pretty helpless if something happened.
Turbulence or something.
Yeah.
I remember me and my husband got into a pretty minor car accident a little while ago, but my glasses flew off my face and I couldn't find them for a little bit, and I was already kind of freaking out because we just got in an accident. It was terrifying.
Oh, so can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
And for me, there's just the fact that it makes traveling so much easier. Whenever we go somewhere, we have to make sure that we have enough contacts, enough contact solution, our contact cases, glasses cases for when we take off the glasses and wear the contacts. This may sound incredibly stupid and you might be thinking, I would never do something like this, but I actually left my glasses at home when I traveled to a foreign country before. This was actually the very first time that I had ever gone to a foreign country before. I thought it'd be cute to wear my contacts on an airplane, and this was before I had my job, so I didn't know how very drying they were on airplanes. Oh God.
I bet that was awful.
Oh. So I get on the airplane and I take off my contacts because I can't stand it anymore. They're so dry, and I realize I don't have my glasses. And so it is an overnight flight to Japan. The lights are off in the cabin, I have to pee, and I get up and go to the bathroom, to the lavatory in the back, and realize when I come out that I can't for the life of me find my seat. This is why I have so much patience for any customer no matter what, because I have been that passenger that didn't know what they were doing on their very first flight to a foreign country and left their glasses at home and can't find their seat. So I get to where I'm going in Japan and had to have my mom ship my glasses to me, and I was actually leaving that location.
How long did that take to get to you?
It only took like a couple weeks, but still, like,
a couple weeks without your glasses.
It was awful because I couldn't wear my contacts the whole time either, so I would have to just like paw my way around until, like, you know,
at night.
Yeah, I had to like paw my way around at night until I finally got the glasses. And it was so close. On the very last day I was at this place, finally they came in the mail. I was so relieved. So we had actually been thinking about LASIK for a long time, but it was never really, it never really seemed like time to dive in and do it. But kind of with everything that's going on with the world right now,
Quarantine, I feel like you have a lot of time to think about things that you can improve on, things that you're putting off, and you know, maybe it's just, why not do it? You know, I have the money, I have the time. Actually, there wasn't really much recovery time. We thought there would be more, but there wasn't. But yeah, it just, I don't know, we started talking about it during quarantine, and it was like, why not just do it? And also, I figure the sooner you do it, the better, if you can afford it, because that will end up saving you more money in the long term. If you are so dependent on glasses and contacts to be able to see, you end up spending a lot of money.
We did search out a place that was within our budget though. We went to a few different places that was on the higher end. I think the highest quote that I got was $5,000, and that was for smile surgery, which is just the fancier version of LASIK basically. The lowest quote we got was $3,200. We actually ended up going to a place that quoted us $3,700, and that was with $1,000 off discount because it was a promotional price.
Which it seems like they're always doing promotions, so.
Maybe. Well, I would recommend definitely looking around. We looked around quite a bit more than most people seem to. The doctors always seemed surprised that we had gone to so many places, but it was kind of a combination.
Well, yeah, that's the advantage of both of us doing it, was that she went to several consultations at different places than I did, and I went to several different consultations, so we actually ended up getting quite a few quotes and you know, feeling out the different places.
So the place that we ended up going, I had actually not had a consultation there, and but she went there, and I was looking at a place that was cheaper, but then the place that she was looking at, they asked her what kind of laser the cheaper place was using, and so they were going really into detail about different studies that this particular company had done on the outcomes between the two lasers, because the company we ended up going with had upgraded from the laser that the other company had 5 years ago. And they have several different offices throughout the country, so a whole company, like a huge company like that, doesn't upgrade all their laser systems for no reason. They had a very solid reason for doing it. There's just better outcomes with this newer laser. And if you're spending so much money anyway, I mean, just get the newest and best, you know? Yeah, I mean, it's only your eyes, so. I'll link down below. We went to TLC Laser Centers up here in the Seattle area. If you're interested in LASIK and you want to check out the TLC Laser Eye Centers, send me a message and I can send you a referral code that can save you a little bit of money. So you might be wondering what it's like to get LASIK surgery. A lot of people that I've talked to who were considering it have said things like they would get it, but it's a little too scary, you know, surgery on your eyeballs. Not the most pleasant thought, but I do kind of want to put anyone who's thinking about it at ease, because our experience anyway was really, really great. So we show up together to the office.
Put us in the same room to basically prepare for surgery, which was really nice of them considering the current state of affairs. You know, they're trying to keep all the patients really spread out and separate. So they were really accommodating with, you know, the two twins getting LASIK together. They let us be in the same preparation room and
afterwards too.
And afterwards.
So what happened basically is we got put in this room together, and we had our little Xanax pills, you know, and they told us when to take them. Caitlin went first. Then they get you prepped for surgery. You look a little funny with your little bonnet, hair bonnet and booties, and iodine around the eyes. Yeah, because obviously the operation room has to stay very, very sterile.
So I went first. They took me into the operation room, and I, at that point, didn't feel like the Xanax had kicked in at all because I was pretty terrified. It didn't really hit me that this was real until I walked into the operation room and see the lasers and everything. And, well, I couldn't actually see very well because I didn't have my glasses on at that point. But, yeah, it felt like real then, and I was kind of freaking out. But there was a really nice lady who held my hand basically the whole time, so that's good. So how it works is, or how our surgery worked, is you lay down on a bed in between the two lasers. There's one that makes the flap and there's one that actually does the correction. And so you lay down on the bed and you get moved over to the first laser. The bed just moves.
The bed moves on its own, so you don't have to do anything, you just lay there.
Yeah, which is good. I was like frozen stiff. But so you get moved over to the first laser, and what happens is they do kind of a countdown, and by the way, they're putting drops in your eyes the whole time to make sure your eyes don't get dry. They are holding them open with a little contraption, you know?
In my case, I was so nervous that for some reason I wouldn't get numb or something, so I asked for extra numbing drops, and they were fine with it. They just put on extra numbing drops so I'd calm down.
It's actually funny. She said she like asked so many questions and was, you know, bugging the people while it was going on. I didn't say anything the whole time. I was just like, the whole time. Like, I didn't say nothing. I was just squeezing Karen's hand. She was really sweet. Anyway,
thank goodness for Karen, by the way. Shout outs. Because she literally, when she walked me into the room, she was like, I'm just gonna be here to hold your hand just like your mama would. Really comforting.
So the first laser, they basically do a countdown, and your vision just gets gray, and then you totally lose your vision, and you start to see these stars, I guess. Really weird. They told us all this would happen and everything, but
it's still like you don't
because
understand until you go through it, but
because you know what's happening, like they're cutting your eye, I think it's way more terrifying than what is actually, you know, you're experiencing.
What you're seeing, yeah. What you're seeing is kind of cool.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah,
seeing stars, like, it's fine. But that was terrifying. But that was so quick. Then, so they do one eye at a time.
Yeah,
then
like 15 seconds per eye, pretty much.
Once they were done with both eyes cutting the flap, the bed moves you over to the second laser, and that one was way easier, or I don't know, way more pleasant. I don't know why. No?
It was just like,
I guess it was just way more enjoyable because it's like, oh, you're almost done.
That's
like,
true.
And you can see your vision like normalizing like right away as it's happening, which is, I don't know,
kind of
crazy
trippy
to me.
Yeah, and well, there is a little bit to a burning smell, which
oh yeah, that was
might
weird.
freak some people out, but I don't think it's actually like your eye burning. I think it's just the laser.
The smell of the laser.
Yeah.
That's what they said anyway. Maybe it's make us feel better. Maybe. For the second one, you just stare at a green light, and then they do a countdown again, and like I said, you can just kind of see once they replace the flap, like you can just like see.
I thought that was so cool that you could see the doctor's tools putting the flap back on your eye. I know that sounds bad, but I thought it was neat. I was just, it's like almost an out-of-body experience. Like, oh, they're, you know, closing my eye up.
I do remember the sensation of, I feel like him like adjusting the flap, making sure it's all smooth and everything. Yeah. I don't know why that whole part was just, it was so much better.
That was less freaky than them cutting the flap initially, definitely.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just because it was all done at that point.
I think so, yeah. I think that had a lot to do with it. So then that was pretty much it. Once they, you know, put the flaps down and everything and corrected your vision, they get you up and they're like, can you see the clock? And I was like, yeah, I can see the clock. It was crazy. And maybe the Xanax was kicking in at this point, I don't know. I was still shaking. Like, I was holding my hands like this and just shaking, like walking back to the room where Kristen was. And I get in there and
actually, when the whole process took only about 5 minutes. So she left and came back, and I was sitting there waiting for my turn, and she comes back only 5 minutes later, and I'm like, oh, what happened? Didn't you get it done? And they're like, no, she's already done.
I was like, I can see you. I was tripping a little bit, but
well, maybe a little. And I was starting to at that point as well. But yeah, and just 5 minutes later, I was in the operating room and got mine done, and I was kind of comforted by the fact that she had already got it done, and she seemed fine, if not terrified.
And I told her that Karen was gonna hold her hand.
Yeah, that was like the first thing she said to me after saying that she could see me was, there's someone who will hold your hand.
I was trying to think of like, you know, words to tell her what it was like or something like that, but that was literally the only thing I could think of.
So they take me back to the surgery room, do my surgery, I come back, Caitlin's still waiting for me, and by this point she's getting pretty loopy and I'm feeling it as well. They give us some goggles with some sunglass inserts, and we walk out into the sun that looks like it's just grown 9 sizes, you know, and
it's just stinging.
Yeah.
Well, by this time, my numbing drops were wearing off.
Oh yeah, they only last about 30 minutes. So that's why they tell you to go to sleep right away. So we get into the car where my mom and her husband is waiting for us, and her husband has brought us some bubble teas and these like cute waffle things.
Like bubble waffles?
Yeah, bubble waffles. Yeah. Irrelevant, but they were amazing. Great post-op treats. But we were so out of it that we really didn't even finish them. I think I finished mine like at the end of my nap that day.
Yeah, I fell asleep on mine in the car.
Yeah, and so when we had gotten into the car, we were having so much trouble with the sun coming in on the sides of our goggles that, so we were wearing face masks, obviously. And what we ended up doing was pulling the face masks up over our goggles so that no sun would come in.
Couldn't see anything, but that was totally fine. We just passed out.
We did. Which is good. You want to sleep for about 4 hours after the surgery. The Xanax really does help with that. I ended up actually waking up about 2 hours into my nap, and so there had been no pain up until this point when I woke up 2 hours into my nap, and it really did hurt. Not to like an unbearable degree, but it really, really stung. I could not open my eyes. And so I just like called for my mom and had her bring me some ibuprofen and sleeping pills and just knocked myself back out. And then when we woke up after our naps, like after sufficient time of sleeping,
just like 4 hours or so.
After our naps, we woke up and there was no pain whatsoever.
So as long as you just go straight to sleep after surgery, like I didn't wake up in the middle of my nap and I felt barely anything. Like just a bit at the beginning. I took a couple ibuprofen and I went to sleep, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend to have some sleeping pills on hand just in case. Yeah. So the next week after that, you have to be really careful with your eyes and wear these cute goggles to bed at night
and tape them on your face. That was the worst part. The goggles were fine, but ripping the tape off of your face every morning.
And then we had sticky faces for the rest of the day because
the stickiness wouldn't come off.
Would not come off.
I'm glad that's over.
Yeah. There's also some medicated drops that you need to do every 2 hours the first day, and then gradually less throughout the week.
Antibiotic drops and anti-inflammatory drops. But the whole recovery week, it goes by so fast.
Really did.
You know, a week goes by and you're like, wow, I'm like just a regular seeing person now. Like,
still feels weird.
It's just weird. Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I've accidentally forgotten to take out my contacts that day. You know?
Same. One thing we are still struggling with is halos around lights. So during the day, this is not a problem whatsoever. It's just at night or when it's dark out.
Driving at night.
Yeah, specifically driving. The headlights will be like ginormous, and so just be aware of that. Maybe like the summertime is the best time to get this done because it doesn't get dark until late. Just be aware that that'll be really difficult, and I'm not sure when that's going to go away.
They did say that it would take maybe a few months for our eyes to fully stabilize, so you know, we're still pretty early on in the recovery phase. During that first week too, we did have pretty dry eyes, and that's perfectly normal. We were taking some eye drops pretty regularly, which you're supposed to do and you're supposed to continue doing, although we're 3 weeks post-op now, and honestly, my eyes aren't very dry at all.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I actually haven't really been taking them at all.
I take them still sometimes in the morning, because you do wake up with pretty dry eyes at first.
Yeah, it feels good to take them in the morning, but I don't feel like it's necessary
Anymore.
Yeah. That was actually something that Kristen especially was really concerned about, is, you know, you hear the horror stories of perpetual dry eyes for the rest of your life or something like that. I mean,
I think that was more common with the older style lasers. But the reason I was super concerned about that is because I work on airplanes. During our follow-up appointment, we actually found out that we now both have 20/15 vision, which is better than we've ever had wearing contacts or glasses. So it's kind of just like when we were kids again, getting our first pair of glasses, like, wow, look how crisp that is.
Yeah, it's really weird. We are always like looking at the mountain, looking at the moon, like, wow, yes, amazing.
So LASIK is undeniably a pricey procedure, but in our opinion, it is definitely worth it.
So worth it.
And the reason for that is because if you're wearing contacts, I was spending about maybe $400 a year on that. If you're wearing glasses, optometrists recommend that you change your glasses every 1 to 3 years. So for instance, even with my insurance, my glasses cost me $400. So for what we were spending on glasses and contacts, our $3,700 procedure is actually going to pay for itself after 6 years.
Also, you always get, as a blind person, a yearly exam to see if there's been any change in your vision, and also to get your updated prescriptions if you need them. Your prescriptions do expire, so if you want to continue to buy contacts every year, which I buy the one-day wear ones, used to.
Still weird.
Yeah. If you want to buy contacts every year, you have to update your contacts prescription, which is a separate prescription than your normal prescription, or glasses prescription, I should say. And insurance
only covers
one. Okay. So that would always cost me about $150, I think.
something like that, yeah.
Every year. Bottom line, it's going to pay for itself in what we figured for our costs is about 6 years. For everyone, it might be different, but that's why I really feel like the sooner you get it, the better. If you can.
Yeah.
You know,
as soon as your vision stabilizes and you can afford it.
Yeah, don't put yourself into debt, or, I mean, you can possibly get some debt that's interest-free, but I mean, maybe if you can avoid it, don't do it. For all of the monetary reasons and just making our lifestyle so much more carefree,
easier.
I mean, there's so many little things that we did. I mean, it's hard to name off all the little things, you know, just to work around our severe nearsightedness.
So there was a time when we had to do our makeup like this because we literally couldn't see.
And there's many other little things. That was just something that we happened to notice right before we were about to get this done. So
that's why I took that picture.
So as we were driving to get it done, surgery day, I actually said to my husband, it feels like I'm giving up a piece of my identity, because she wore contacts, but I wore glasses every day, unless it was like summertime and I really wanted to wear my sunglasses, which is another thing, you know. You can't wear sunglasses
unless you pay a stupid amount for prescription sunglasses.
Yeah, or you have to, you know, you plan to wear your contacts on the days that you want to wear sunglasses, but then some random winter days are ridiculously bright. Anyway, so yeah, I struggled with giving up that, but at the same time, there are like $17 blue light filtering glasses that you can get on Amazon, and you can get like what, 8 pairs or something like that for the price of 1 pair of regular glasses, and all different cute styles. Yeah, so you don't really have to give that up if that is you. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you might be a person that is somewhat blind yourself, so you probably know all of the, actually you probably don't realize all of the ways that you work around your blindness.
Yeah,
You
just
probably-
too used to it.
Yeah, I like having the experience of having gone through both. Like, it still doesn't feel real, but you know, going from being a pretty much blind person to just being able to see without any effort or any help. I like having both those experiences, and really opened your eyes to how much, you know, of my life was going into that.
So we just wanted to share our experiences in case anyone was thinking about getting LASIK and maybe you're a little bit nervous or you're not really sure if it's going to be worth it for you. For us, it obviously was very much worth it, and we did have a particularly good experience with both the specific place that we went to get it done and just with the fact that we didn't really have any complications or bad side effects or anything like that.
I do want to mention that every single person that we came into contact with at this particular place, TLC in Bellevue, was wonderful.
In summary, it was great, would highly recommend. I am loving my new vision right now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got something from this if you have been thinking about doing LASIK. If you have any more questions or comments, please leave them down below and I will answer them. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Bye.